like to welcome everybody to the Coaches in the Mouth pod. This is Coach Jeff Williams along with Coach Bray Cook. The Mouth is on assignment again today. He is Mouth's been busy, man. I mean, he's all over the place.
Yeah, he has been all over the place.
I mean, he's high school games. He's
the whole state of Arkansas, Coach.
I mean, he's everywhere. I mean, it's unbelievable. But talk to the Mouth this week, and we'll get into the Razorbacks. We got a great show for you. We got our BSN, bring Danny on for a BSN Player of the Week. We got bring on a big fan of our show, Coach Casey Dick from Fayetteville. They got a big game with Bentonville, and then we'll bring Coach Daryl Fimple on to do some picks. He's going to have another special segment, and then we'll bring the Triple Crown guy on to get some picks for the weekend. But let's just get right into the last Saturday with the Hogs. That's it's what 3 in a row there, but it's kind of like I brought up last week. If you got the schedule out again, ladies and gentlemen, and you looked at it for this month, you knew it was going to be pretty brutal. And I got good news and bad news. The bad news is we have one more week of it. The good news is it's over after this week.
Mm-hmm.
Let's recap a little bit in Oxford. I going into it, I got tickled. I think the Mouth asked me if we could stop them twice, if we'd be able to score with Ole Miss. Ole Miss came in after the LSU game, monstrous points, scoring every possession. I thought defensively we held them in check about as best we could. You could tell Ole Miss wasn't in rhythm like they were against LSU, but we had something to do with that also. I thought, defense, we played real well. Offensively,
not so well. And it's kind of the reoccurring thing. And I hate to say this is when Coach Pittman made some changes this week in the offensive line, then came back out in the second half and goes, we're going back to our original group. Folks, that's a guy trying, and that's a guy just searching for some answers. Mm-hmm.
And, they go back to it. We struggled running the ball, look good at times, penalties, still some things, that process of it. KJ's, here it is. He's starting to take a toll on him a little bit. But I thought Coach Pittman in his press conference, one thing he did say, and I totally agree with this 100%, if we can't run the ball, we're not going to be very successful on offense.
No, you're going to struggle.
And so what's your take? I mean, we've all been there as coaches, players, everything, especially as an old offensive lineman, when you're struggling running the ball and the confidence part of it, pass protection and all that part of it. But what do you do?
Well, I go back to when I was a player, you had goals, rushing goals for each game. If we rush for 250, we've won that football game. And that was typically it. And then, years that we weren't so good, it was 150 was that goal. And you could kind of tell the difference, being a part of good seasons and seasons where you struggle. I wonder what their goal is this year. How hard are they emphasizing the run game? And what's that goal? And are they hitting that goal is my big question. Well,
and that's a great question just on the fact of, you talked about 250 and 150. I don't know where we're getting with it. And we're going – we got to go to Alabama. We got to go to Tuscaloosa this coming week. And ladies and gentlemen, they had an announcement here on the Coaches in the Mouth pod. Alabama has figured it out. It's like I said about 2 weeks ago. They lost to Texas. They experimented with some other quarterbacks, blah, blah, blah. All right, we know who we are. We're going to have some quarterback design runs. We're going to play defense. We're going back to what we were about back in 2009, 2010 era. That's the way we're going to try to win. So, going into that, now put yourself in our shoes. We're struggling to run the ball, headed to Tuscaloosa against that defense. What's your mindset? As a coach, what's Coach Pittman's mindset here? And then throw a player in there. You've been around both of them.
I think, you as a coach, you can't talk about it's Alabama. You got to step your game up this week. I think you still have to focus on, hey, it's our football team. And once we figure it out, we'll be rolling, but we got to figure it out. And you can say Alabama's going to do everything right. They are Alabama, but I think that's irrelevant this Saturday. It's what are we going to be able to produce without hurting ourselves. And I feel like that's the answer every week, but especially going into a team like this, because they're not going to make those mistakes.
And I agree with you. When you're struggling, you've got to focus on yourself. I mean, you start looking at opponents and things like that, and you are 100% right. This week in practice, and they've been doing it every week, but this week in practice, focus on what we got to do fundamentally wise to get better. Let's get KJ some easy throws early, get going. Something positive happen early. I think that's a big key. I mean, and Alabama's not a dominant football team. They go in and turn it over or they're off a little bit like Ole Miss. You saw last week, they were off a little bit than what they were the week before. And so when you get those things going, focusing in on yourself and something positive happen early could be huge.
You have to.
And everything. Well, let's go ahead and do this. Let's turn it over. We're going to get to our high school part of it. Man, got some big games. Got some great guests on today. Let's go ahead and, Danny McEwen, we're going to bring him on our BSN Player of the Week. He's going to announce that. We've got an outstanding candidate and see where he's at with everything. So, all right, let's bring him on right now. The BSN sponsor of the week, Danny McEwen. My gosh, the scores this week, Danny. There's 84 spot. Me and Coach Swimp, we're going to talk a little bit later on. There's there's 50, 60 points scored every freaking Friday night. It's unbelievable. But, this is a great part of the year because I think, we're sitting here. Teams are starting to shape up. We know who we are. People are starting to fall in line as far as those 1s and 2 seeds a little bit. And the 3s and 4s and people fighting, trying to get in the playoffs. So where'd you go? What'd you see? And tell us about the player of the week.
Yeah, so I agree. Everything's kind of shaping up for the playoffs right now. And I went and watched Conway and Cabot Friday night, and besides getting to see an impressive offensive display from Conway, I got to see 2 legends there at the game. I got to see Coach Larry Stanley. So got some great comments from him. Can't share those on air. And I got to see the guest picker, Coach Finkel, was sitting in the end zone. Yeah.
He's everywhere. He was great as a monster.
He is. He says he's trying to drive up viewership. So I told him make sure everybody likes and subscribes. So
exactly. Oh, he's been out there and he's taking. I think he might be pulling out his top 5 picks, top 5 teams of the week. I don't know. He's got something brewed up this week. So
he had his legal pad out. He was taking good notes. So we need to check. We got to check his work.
We'll check his work. Well, tell me about our BSN Player of the Week and how you came up with it, and some other. We had some big performances.
Really did. It seems like this may be the year for the quarterback, because when you start looking at stats and seeing games and watching highlights on Huddle, there's some quarterbacks that are putting up some big numbers. And don't want to discriminate against any other positions, because I'm looking for a defensive guy. Still searching, but our Arkansas Player of the Week this week for Week 6 is Ja'Cory Foreman Carter from Little Rock Hall High School.
Hey, how about that, Coach Withrow? Yeah. Isn't that something?
Yeah.
I think you told me it was a first time back-to-back wins in 19 years. Coach Withrow. Yes. Oh, I gotta give it up for him. I mean,
absolutely. Absolutely.
That's tough. And keep going here. I want to hear about this young man.
So, Hall's in their second season playing back to 11-man, coming out of 8-man, where they had some success, but Coach Withrow knew he had a project when he took it on. Things are pointing in the right direction. And this young man, Ja'Cory Foreman Carter, did a little bit of everything Friday night. He's their quarterback. And at playing quarterback, he had 2 touchdowns passing. He had 4 touchdowns rushing, long of 50 yards. He also plays defense. He plays a little defensive back, he plays linebacker. He had 11 tackles. He had a strip fumble recovery and a sack. He returned kicks, he returned punts. Rumor has it he may have sang the national anthem before the game and popped popcorn at halftime. It sounded like he did a little bit of everything, but really excited to see that what's going on over at 8th Street. They are bought in. Jim's working hard. The whole staff's doing a great job. And to see those kids excited about playing football here in the city of Little Rock is really, really cool. So we were glad we got to honor Ja'Cory with a great performance. Unfortunately, he got banged up, and he's not going to get to play this Friday night. But yeah, he'll be back, and they're in a position to make the playoffs.
All right. That's an amazing job by Coach Withrow right there. Leave Sylvan Hills. Everybody's kind of like, what are we doing here going to Hall? And goes there. And of course, COVID hits and all that mess. And then, they end up going to 8-man football and then coming back and winning back-to-back, having BSN Player of the Week. Unbelievable job. I got to get – and Coach Withrow is one of my favorite guys, man. And I tell you what, if any coach is watching this, and you get a guy that's going one way and playing on the punt team, walks up to you and tells you you're tired, they need to show this video of that kid.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The whole team did a great job, and it was really fun to see how excited they are about the success that they're having. And they've got a legitimate shot to get in the playoffs if everything goes well for them. This kid's got an offer from UAPB. He's a good student, and really, really excited that we got to celebrate him and the Warriors over on H Street.
Well, that's awesome. And, him going to UAPB, keeping up with Alonzo over there, Coach Hampton.
Yes.
Boy, he's really getting that thing turned around in the right direction. We're going to probably have him on too. Man, that's exciting, really exciting. All right. That's big games this week. Where are we headed? Some big conference matchups. Me and Coach Fimple are looking forward to getting into this a little bit. Where are we headed this week?
Yeah, it's I see that there's a big one up in your part of the world, Fayetteville and Bentonville. That's going to be a war right there.
Yeah,
they may play till midnight, so that's going to be a really good one. I know that down south, Warren is taking on a really surprising DeWitt team. So that's going to be really interesting to see how that shakes out. Southside, Batesville Southside's undefeated, playing Nettleton. That's a big one right there. And Harrison and Alma is another great game. But there's one in Crittenden County, which is probably where I'm going, that if you've never been to this rivalry game, you need to take the time to go sometime. The West Memphis Blue Devils are hosting the Marion Patriots, and it's a war. I can't describe it any other way but a war. It is every year, and the rivalry is strong, and they'll be tailgating outside the stadium. It'll be a big, big night, and should be a heck of a ball game, because I know that Benton's sitting out there playing really, really well, and I don't think either one of them have played them yet. But this is going to come down to probably the winner's probably going to play them for the conference championship.
Well, it looks like Marion's already played Benton earlier, but West Memphis,
that's right,
they're setting themselves up there. I mean, you're talking about buys here. You're talking about getting guys healthy and in that part. But I know Coach Elmore have his hands full this week over there as the athletic director at West Memphis. I know this is a game I've never been to myself, and I'd really like to go watch this one. But,
yeah, I'm telling you, I've been to several of them. I've been watched when he was coaching, and watched when Lanny Dowks was coaching, and of course Grafton Moore's been involved in every swinging one.
The guy's unhuman. Grafton Moore, ladies and gentlemen, that's Grafton Moore. How old's Coach Moore? 78.
Yes,
78 years old. Is still coaching defensive ends there in West Memphis. Gets up, does the laundry every day, comes in, gets it out. Man, I mean, the guy's unhuman.
Unhuman. It's not unusual for him to go out on a weekday or even a game day and play 18 holes of golf, go home and get on the treadmill for a couple of hours, and then come to practice or come to the game. So he's a machine, and it's awesome to see. If you want to know about the rivalry, all you got to do is ask Grafton Moore.
Yeah, there's no doubt he's seen a few of them. Well, Danny, hey, look forward to you next week, man. Boy, excited about. Hey, Coach Withrow, I'm gonna give him a call here after we get done the show. I'm excited for those guys, big games. Hey, look forward to seeing you next week.
Absolutely. It's going to be a great week of football. Thanks for having me.
All right, buddy. See you. Well, let's go ahead and bring him on now. Our guest picker, the mouse gone today, so we got to bring him back. Let's just bring back Coach Daryl Fimple. Let's bring him on now. Man, tore it up. What were you, 8-2 last week?
Yes, man, fired up, man. This is awesome pickings right here.
Yeah, awesome. The mouse out on assignment again this week. I went 9-1 last week. Grandma Nah bounced back with a 6-4. Grandma Nah talked to her, and she's working picks with her grandson Peter. And Pete is going to come on the show. She was very upset with her 6-4 record, and she was upset with some teams last week. And so,
Well, when everybody else is picking them right, Grandma's got to, she's got to step her game up.
yeah, she's going to have to step her game.
Yeah.
Well, let's reflect last week. I mean, you were at the Cabot Conway game. Conway keeps just kind of rolling along. Of course, Fayetteville and Southside. Fayetteville's putting up points. Gave up a few last week. Harbor ends up winning that one. Marion just dominated the New Line offense. New Line offense had a bunch of gave up like 600 yards of defense. I mean, on defense, they gave up a lot of yards. Close game. Maumelle and Robinson. What was your reflection back? Mansfield and Charleston, 14-7. What was your reflection last week?
That was the one that I missed there, the Mansfield Charleston. I think it goes back. I didn't know this before the game either. We had every coach from Charleston's pass back. I mean, that's got to be worth 7 points right there. I mean, we're bringing people out of the woodwork.
I mean, I think Doug Lockridge was there, Steve.
Yeah, I mean we had Kendrick the whole night. We had 7 of them legends out there. Like, they're going to lose that night? I mean, nobody told us that. So I don't even know that was a fair pick.
Well,
and poor Mansfield. I mean, they were walking into buzzsaw waiting for them. And I think they lost their quarterback in the mix there, too, or something like that happened, something tricky. But, yeah, Charleston definitely showed that there's something to mess with. And that was a weird one. Of course, I think the Bentonville Rogers Heritage, that's one. You hang 84 points on a team, and I'm just thinking that Coach Grant's probably not really welcomed around Rogers and probably not going to get a job over there anytime soon. But it might not be that big of a deal to him. I heard there's going to be like busloads of people leaving Rogers to go watch Fayetteville, so I don't know what that's all about. But
man,
I think there's going to be some tickets sold there.
Good gracious. I know 84. I was like, oh, my gosh. I mean, just punt.
Yeah.
I mean, good gracious, but unbelievable. Fayetteville last week against Southside. Fayetteville's keep rolling. We're going to get in that big game you're hitting.
Oh, that's a huge one.
Huge
one.
That's a huge one. Well, let's get into it here. Before we get to our picks, you got a couple things here this week. We're going to add a new little segment here with you've been researching, been a lot of great feedback with you down on the show, been officially part of the show every week.
Oh yeah.
I mean, what we got? You got a top 5 I hear you got going on.
I got a top 5, and then I got a real top 5, my personal top 5. But my top 5 teams right now, and it's kind of hard, everybody's going to say Parkview, and Parkview deservingly so is one. But what happens a lot of times with teams like Parkview that are so talented is the schedule gets them. You see it all the time in BCS and all this other stuff. So my number 1 team right now is Conway. All right. I know the Bowdoin boys are going to be out to get me. Maybe that'll penetrate us straight to the number 1 seed. But I've got Conway. Parkview's my 2. I've got Fayetteville 3. I got Bryant 4. And my number 5, and I don't know how these guys are sneaking around on people, by the way. All right. Because these guys get after the quarterback. It seems like somebody gets hurt and they just plug somebody in. Coach Young down there at Greenwood. Yeah. I'm telling you, I've never seen a team with a tradition and everything behind them that just everybody kind of forgets about until state finals. It's like almost like, hey, where's Greenwood at? So I think Greenwood, Bentonville in that 5th spot. And I think those are spectacular teams. But my real top 5, all right, these guys are my top 5 right here. All right. If you go anywhere on Friday night to watch these guys right here, my number 1 Fimps top, I'm going to go from the bottom. First of all, let's go 8-man football here. All right. 8-man football. We got Rector and Strong. They're combined 10-0. Wow. There's 8 people just battling. I don't know if they got 11 on the roster, but that's got to be some fun action right there, man. I'm talking about just battles going on in 8-man football. I got Rector 4. I got Strong 5. Just because I love Strong. And my number 3 Fimps team is the Elkins Elks. Boy. They're hanging like 75 on people. As a matter of fact, their quarterback just got offered by somebody. I can't remember. And then you got Salem that's rolling in at 7-0. And my team, my number 1 Fimps team is the Mineral Springs, baby. Don't mess around with Mineral Springs. We're 7-0 for a reason. Well, we're down there dominating people.
They are. And I tell you about Mineral Springs. I mean, they're going to make a run. You have the Elkins. Coach Watson over there has done a great job with those guys. Well, it looks like them and Ozark going to meet up here. And that, for that.
Oh yeah. Yeah. They're all huddled up in there.
And Salem, I got that text about them undefeated and they popped up. And I mean, man, we're at the point of the season here where when Bray talked about it, you kind of are who you are. You still get,
yeah.
but the injuries and things like that, and things are starting to play out. People this week, and we'll hit on it. In the 6A, 7A, trying to get those 5th, 6th, 4th spots. We got a 1 and 2, but those things are starting. I know in the bigger classification are really starting to play out. And we got some big games.
Well, them bigger classifications, those are your play-in, save your job days. You're trying to get that 5th, 6th hole. Just make sure that you tell everybody on that school board that you made it to state tournament every year. That's what you're trying to do right there. Them are job saving measures down here. My little class down here, Mineral Springs, we're playing for our lives. We're playing for our lives every night. And that's what you got to like about little school football.
Oh, it's great. Well, let's get into our picks here. Mount's up gone. He called to make sure I went over every pick. He didn't want any screw ups. He's just going to battle back. I said, we brought Coach Fempel on. He's kind of moving on. I was 9-1 last week, and they catch up a little bit.
Yeah, I'm even trying to get sponsors. I'm trying to get sponsors for us right here. Look at that, Coke.
Yeah.
Make our dreams come true.
Our dreams come true. Well, let's start here. Let's start in South Arkansas. And this is a game we added a little bit late. And I've done a little research on this. We got Warren at DeWitt. DeWitt's undefeated. Big, like the Buck Sweep, big power football team, big and strong. Coach Bo down there is doing what he always does, and he's kind of on that conference. The Mouth's going to take Coach Bo, obviously. Grandma Na's taking Coach Bo because he's a big fan of the show. Coach Williams is taking Coach Bo. I just think that, and I know DeWitt's got a good team. Once they get out there, those orange helmets might bring back some memories. Who you got?
Well, yeah, and it's like I said, this is a fish fry game. I'm sure the DeWitt Booster Club they're pounding out the $10, buffet there at the King Cat. They're rolling in some hot grease. They're cooking fish on the sidelines. They're excited to bring old Bo in his right ways and look across there and see Warren. DeWitt's not been in this situation for a while.
Yeah.
That's always big. And when you got a veteran coach like Bo, who I'm pretty sure there's going to be a statue somewhere. I'm pretty sure the guy can single-handedly pass a millage by himself if he just goes out and shakes a couple hands. And it has become wide receiver U. If there is any doubt in the state of Arkansas where wide receiver U is, right here. And let me tell you about that guy too. You had him on your show. He's a phenomenal coach in so many ways, and even just stealing nuggets from that guy. That guy, they practice 7th through 12th graders together.
Yeah.
Could you imagine being a 7th grader throwing a pass to Burks? Hey, don't screw this up, fella. I mean, that's an amazing thing. I mean, that could be used. Heck, we're even using it. We're at North Little Rock some in basketball, just because I think that's the greatest thing I've ever heard of. So Bo's on to something. I think he's been there. I'm sure he's nervous. All good coaches get nervous. But you got number 2 versus number 5. It's at home at DeWitt. I'm thinking that first half is going to be spectacular. The Dragons are going to try to pound them and pound them and pound them. But don't sleep on the Lumberjacks. They've been there, done that. I look for the Warren Lumberjacks to pull this one out by at least 10.
Well, it ought to be a great game. And Warren's dominated that league. But, man, DeWitt's really got it going on.
All right, they both have played Crossett.
Yep.
Crossett, and they got in a shootout with Crossett. And then DeWitt, beat Crossett 25-6. Like I said, though, I think they controlled the ball a lot, kept it out of their hands. So I think they're going to have a little problem with Warren. But like I said, hey, DeWitt, they're pitching it out there. Heck, their lead blocker's the quarterback. You got to like that kind of football.
All right, let's get back to that. Exactly. All right, staying in South Arkansas. Hot Springs Trojan, Daryl Burnett and them, they've played pretty good this year. Magnolia at Magnolia. Coach King's team, I can't figure out is when you think
this they're done,
they come back.
Yeah, this whole league is like that besides Parkview. I mean, you just you got Parkview and everybody else it's a coin flip of what's going to happen, what's going to take place.
Well, the Mouth's taking Hot Springs. Grandma Na is taking Magnolia. Coach Williams is going to take Magnolia because I think Hot Springs plays a lot better at home than they do on the road. And it's a pick 'em, and I'm going with the home team, and I'm going to go with Magnolia. Who you got in this?
Well, this is interesting because I think Magnolia's defense sometimes shows up, sometimes doesn't. But if you look at the top 100 players, or 2-2, the top 100 teams, Magnolia's got a little bit tougher competition there. Hot Springs, though, they have given up exactly in the conference season. You take away the 53 from Parkview, they've only given up 14 points.
Yeah.
So I like defense. So I'm going to hang my hat on Hot Springs in this one.
Well,
and it's going to be a close one, though. It might be the one that has the ball last in this game.
It is. And Magnolia's a tough place to play. And they played well at home. And Hot Springs just kind of, they've been up and down a little bit on the road, but they're really, really tough at home. All right, we're going back to old school, staying to South Arkansas. Jimmy Parker and
Wow.
Mickey O'Quinn. Excuse me, not Dr. O'Quinn, Jimmy Red Parker, who's coached both of these teams. We got Fordyce at Rising.
Yeah. Don't you want to get to that part in your career where you own a car dealership too?
Exactly.
You're coaching football and you own a car dealership. That's the greatest thing I think I've ever heard of.
Just ride through Fordyce, pick your car up.
Yeah.
Ball game.
Yeah. Hey, coach, can I get a car to go to the game scout tonight? Heck yeah, son. Just go down to the car dealership. That's what I'm talking about.
Well, there won't be nobody in Fordyce Friday night, and everybody in Rising is going to be at the football game. This is a tough one. Mouth went with Rising. Grandma Na has gone with Fordyce. I'm going to go with Fordyce. I think that they do a very good job over there. Rising's got a new coach. We'll see how it goes, but I'm going to go with Fordyce. Who you got in this one?
Well, this has got to be my frog leg supper game right here. This is a frog leg supper game. We're cooking up some grease here. We got some frog legs going on. That or it's a shotgun raffle or something. There's got to be something tied into this game. Somebody's making some big bucks on the Booster Club. We got some trucks backed up to the fence. We got some tailgaters going on. But I think Fordyce wins this one. Fordyce is 3-3, the 2-0 in the conference. I think Fordyce wins this one pretty handedly.
I think so too. All right, staying in Western Arkansas, we had this team last week. They lost to Charleston. We got Booneville at Mansfield. This is my personal opinion. I think Booneville's fixing to run through this thing with not much sweat on them. Not just this game in particular, but the whole season. I think they're loaded up. I went with Booneville. Good, yeah. Grandma and I went with Booneville. I'm going with Booneville. What's your thoughts?
Well, Booneville's averaging 42 points a night, especially in conference play. Now, here's the tricky thing about Booneville's schedule here. We got Mansfield at Mansfield. Next week, are we looking ahead, though? Because we got the Charleston Tigers waiting for us at home. So this is a locked-in, focused game. You better put your glasses on, your chin strap, and make sure you know who you're playing against across you. So I'm going to take Booneville in this one. I think they're going to get locked in and loaded. Tradition's going to carry on. My Mansfield Tigers, I'm still mad at them. I'm mad at them about last week. All right, so I've got to go with Booneville.
Well, I think that's a good pick. Mansfield's had a phenomenal year. Hopefully they stay healthy. Let's go up here to Northwest Arkansas. We got Coach Burns and the Ozark Hillbillies at Gentry. Gentry's kind of made a little noise this year. Ozark's been pretty, had a tough non-conference schedule, got back in the groove. It kind of looks like Ozark and Elkins are the two teams in that conference, but Gentry always puts up a good fight. They're at Gentry. The Mouth's taking, of course, the Mouth's going to take Coach Burns. Big fan. I mean, the Mouth has been to Coach Burns. He's been up there, spent a day with him at the field house. He's going over to Ozark this year when he's going to be on site when they play Elkins in a few weeks. And so the Mouth obviously took Coach Burns. Grandma Na took Coach Burns in Ozark. I'm taking Ozark also. Break it down for me.
Well, let me tell you here. We got number 2 and 3 in the conference right now. Ozark's 2. Ozark is also number 9 overall in Class 4A, followed by Gentry at 10. So we've got a split game here. Both teams are 5-1. Both teams are 3. Well, actually, Gentry's 2-0 in the conference for some crazy reason. That's one of them conference gigs thing. Conference-wise, Gentry's averaged almost 50 points a night. Ozark's averaging 45, but they're only giving up 9.
Yeah.
Again, what I say again, that defense, I like that defense. All right. Ozark's got a spectacular player in Kobe Wilbanks. I heard that they actually wrapped him in bubble wrap this week in practice, kept him healthy. But Kobe last week had 10 carries for 209 yards and 4 TDs. All right. Burns screwed around with the guy, tried to get his stats up, I guess, for the Heisman. So he let him attempt 8 passes. He completed 4 of them for 42 yards just to trick people. That was just a trick.
Well,
Burns, he's just tricking. He's tricking people. This was my lawn chair game of the week right here. Yeah, right here. Lawn chairs, because the stadiums are going to be packed. Packed house right here. Lawn chairs are surrounding the track. I don't know if there's a homecoming queen, but I'm going to say the over and under on Big Smith overalls being worn during this game right here, right? Over under Big Smith's 10 Big Smiths overalls, just straight coming out of the woods, just looking for people right there. The Gentry Pioneers and the Ozark Hillbillies. There's got to be. Big Smith might be the sponsor of this game right here going off right here. This game is going to be exciting. You got Caden Coons, who had 23 carries for 203 yards and 2 TDs for Gentry last week. That's 400 yards these guys got between the two of them. All right. But once again, like I said, Ozark's only giving up 9 points. So I'm going to take Burns and the Kibler Mafia from Ozark on the W right here.
Coach Burns does a great job. Coach Bingham and Gentry's done a great job. It'll be a great game. All right, this is pretty close to home to you right here. We're getting old school right here. Man. This is a big one. And Alma came on big win against P Ridge last week. Harrison lost to Shiloh. We got Harrison at Alma. Oh, he's breaking out the jacket, folks. He's breaking out the jacket.
Let me see it. Let me see that jacket. Look at all them A's. Can't move my arms. My mom put all these patches on there. It's awesome. I still fit.
Well, here's
homecoming too, buddy. Homecoming
in
Airedale Stadium. I don't know why it's not Frank Vine Stadium, but that's a whole nother story. Don't even get me started on that right there. But hey, yeah, look at that. All state tags there. Can't move my arms. It's awesome.
All right, the Mount's going to take Harrison. I'm going to take Harrison also. I think just physicality. Grandma Knock is going to go with Harrison. Homecoming. Are you going to be there?
There it is. Keith Whitley. Keith Whitley's singing about it. It's homecoming, buddy. Homecoming. 92 team state runner-up's going to be there to do the coin toss. Let me tell you how good we were. We had a quarterback named Johnny Mac Rogers. You know you're good if they use all 3 of your names, okay? They used all 3 of this guy's names. I don't even know. I never heard anybody call him Johnny Rogers. It was Johnny Mac Rogers. Johnny Mac Rogers. That was our quarterback there. He's going to be in the coin toss. You want to talk about a game, though. Harrison and Alma. Let's just go back to some of the players there. You got Burlsworth, Cochran, Edwards, Estes over at Harrison. You've got the Burns boys, the Daly boys, the Perrys. It was like we had all in the family there. I'd say my brother, but he screwed it all up. He had the worst team ever. Everybody got hurt. And then we had Chad Nierenberg, who was our leading tackler. I mean, that guy's going to be there too. He might tackle somebody from the stands in this game. That guy's crazy as it all gets out. But this is going to be a spectacular game. There is no Tommy Tice over there, and there is no Frank Vines. All right, that's going to be the only difference tonight. Because you know what? Alma's going to come out with the W. The W's coming our way right there. I mean, you got Adam Daly, who I thought our guy was going to stop him last week, but I don't know if he can be stopped. I mean, we're just running the power up in there. Last week, he had 180 yards and 3 TDs again. This guy's rolling up video game numbers is what I like to call him. He's a video game machine right now. He's blasting people everywhere he goes. They've got wins over Farmington and P Ridge. The last week was a tough one, but Harrison lost last week to Shiloh, 25-55. It's going to match up where Alma, I think, is going to roll in there with Shiloh. I don't know what we're going to do on that one, but that could be spectacular. So Coach Bush is doing a good job, got them in the right way after that first opening week that we don't want to talk about. I don't know what we did with our secondary, but we must have did something because we kind of fixed some things on the back end and helped us out a little bit there. But like I said, this is going to be a true homecoming for the Alma Airedales, and the Alma Airedales are winning this.
Wow. Well, with the home team, or are you going to wear the jacket?
Oh, yeah. Oh, the jacket's going to be warm. Yeah. There's no doubt.
You got to wear the jacket. Got to wear the
There's
jacket.
No doubt.
Coin toss. Good, the coin toss.
I might even sit out in the back of a truck with the sheriff. You know, the sheriff sits out there. He watches the game from up high. Yeah. Might even sit out there with him.
All right, we're going to the Eastern Arkansas. I think this may be for a conference championship over here. We got Batesville Southside, who has just been rolling.
What is the deal there? Hey,
Man,
you know what, too?
They have been.
You want to talk about striking while the iron's hot, man? They're passing the millage too. They're about to build everything. they said, "Hey, we're 7-0. We're going for a millage right here. Here we go."
No doubt, and they're traveling to Jonesboro. Going to play Nettleton. Nettleton, everybody you talked to preseason was about, Nettleton was the team, and this one here, I would probably said Nettleton until last week. Nettleton only beat, I believe it was Paragould, didn't put up a lot of big numbers and things like that. So the mouse going with Batesville Southside. I'm gonna keep riding that wagon a little bit. I'm gonna go with Batesville Southside. Grandma Na is gonna go with Nettleton. I think this is a tough game, and it's going to determine a lot about conference seeding. What do you got in this one?
Well, Batesville, I didn't know the story about this guy, Coach Simpson. He left, come back, and pretty much took over. He was up for the Hootens Coach of the Year in 2017. He was a finalist for it. He's really got a really good football team. They've scored 278 points, only giving up 76, only giving up 12 a game right now. Nettleton, though, you figure something's got to give on the Nettleton game. They had a running back last week. They tried to run him 23 times for 138 yards, T.J. Brown. So you don't really know, but I'm telling you, I think momentum is on Batesville's side right here. And I think they're pretty fired up. Like I said, they're trying to get new facilities. They even added an auditorium. That's how serious they are. They do the old, dude, nobody drops about an auditorium, buddy. You get that auditorium going. All right, so the bottom of this conference, they've been beaten up. Southside Batesville really hasn't, they've taken out the bottom of the conference right now as of now. But I'm going to take Southside Batesville in this one over Nettleton.
I got you. All right, Central Conference, which has been just crazy. We'll get into it.
That's another. Yeah.
Pine Bluff and Mills Pine Bluff's got 25 guys suspended. Mills got 12 guys suspended.
They're about to play 2 JV games.
Golly. What we're doing, guys. It's a great, I hate to say it, a lesson, but like Pine Bluff, they basically lost this game twice. You talked about it with losing in overtime, then having the incident afterwards. And we don't need that in there.
Well, and the thing about it is it's so hard to overcome something like that. You have to address it and, departmentalize and take care of whatever happens there. But it's hard to move the page when something that ugly happens.
Yeah, it is. Well, we're going to stay in the Central Conference here. Got Coach Cody McNabb in Morrilton. Head over to Maumelle. Coach McNabb played a little Beamer ball last week, little Frank Beamer, blocking punts and finding that guy finds a way to win, man. If whatever he's got to do, what a great coach. Coach Maupin is man, they had a tough game against Joe T last week, competed well, got an injury, but they still feel pretty healthy about it, and they're at home. The Mouse going with Maumelle. I'm going to go with Maumelle on this one. Grandma Na is going to go with Morrilton. I don't know. I'll just shoot you straight here.
Well, that's the thing too, is you get looking who they've played in their league. Maumelle's kind of taking on the top teams. Still can't figure out the Mills thing. So that's even harder. It's still a Thursday night thing. It still kills me. But I think that both teams are averaging about 29 points apiece in conference play. Morrilton's giving up 100. But like I said, that's kind of not a tell sign because Maumelle's giving up 159, but they've played the best teams. So what I'm thinking here, and this is a tough one to pick, by the way, I'm going with Maumelle. Did you hear that, Coach Maupin? I'm going with Maumelle. It's shot out there. Let's get these guys ready. And you want to talk about a coach that, you thinking, you look at that guy and you go, hey, man, that guy could suit up today. I think it's that guy. That guy can suit up today. Yeah, he could get you 3 or 4 yards, probably a couple tackles, probably a bent face mask in there somewhere. Him and J.R. Eldridge, 2 bent face mask guys up in there. Those are my guys right there. But I'm going to go with Maumelle on that.
Well, Coach Maupin does a great job. Cody does, Morrilton's been there.
Oh, Cody's phenomenal. Cody's phenomenal.
He's blocking punts. Whatever he's got to do.
Morrilton's lucky to have that guy.
Ain't no doubt. All right, we got 2 games left. Headed over to God's country. This is nothing but a war. I've never been to this game. I've heard stories about this game. It'll be one of my bucket lists when I get an opportunity to just go where I want to go. We got Marion, who put it on the New Line offense last week, gave up a bunch of yards too, at West Memphis, who beat Sheridan, El Dorado last week. They beat El Dorado last week pretty convincingly. These two teams, and I hate to use this word, hate, but it's more dislike out of whatever the word you want. They don't like each other. And they're all right there. They'll be police escort over to West Memphis. They are jacked up, both teams. I think this defines kind of where everything's headed state-wise. I mean, it really does. I mean, West Memphis can win this one. They're pretty in control. Still got Benton down the road for a big game. Marion can get right back in it. The mouth is going to take West Memphis. Grandma Na, who always takes West Memphis because she's a big Blue Devil fan. Coach Williams is going to take West Memphis. Break their game down for you, Marion, West Memphis.
I got Marion. If you erase Marion's averaging 43 points a night. West Memphis is averaging 41. Marion's giving up 24. West Memphis is giving up 13. Once again, hey, the defensive part comes into play with West Memphis right now. West Memphis is also 3-0 at home. So I'm going to take West Memphis, the Blue Devils. And you're right. They don't like each other. They're about, 30 miles apart?
Oh, no, they're
something like that.
They're 10.
They were in an arms race on who could build the nicest gym and football facility. They were out there batting. Their superintendents were squared off, seeing who could get the most money for whatever reasons why. But, the dog track probably helped both of them, if I just want to shoot it out there. Well, dog track probably helped them a little bit. They got great facilities. Like you said, this is going to be an important game to both of them. And you got to love to see that. So, but I'm taking West Memphis Blue Devils in that.
Well, I know one guy that'll be really fired up. Grafton Moore, 78 years old, still out there coaching.
Still out there coaching.
We had Danny on earlier. I mean, the guy, he's not human. He's just not human. I mean, what a legend. What a legend. Okay, let's do this. We're going to stay right here with our big game, big matchup, marquee game of the week is Bentonville at Fayetteville. Let's bring on Coach Casey Dick at this time, our BSN guest of the week. Coach, huge game. I'm excited about this one. I'll be honest with you, I've been kind of waiting around about last 2 or 3 weeks waiting on this one, and everything's played out the way it ought to play. Huge game of Bentonville this week. Had you guys on a couple weeks ago. You played Rogers, took care of those guys, went over to Southside last week, took care of those guys. Your defensive guys are all fired up like they are every week, doing a great job. Offensively, you're scoring tons and tons of points. Talk to us a little bit about where your team's at. Where did you envision them? We've had you on earlier this summer, and you felt like you had a good squad. Talk to us where your team's at right now going into this huge Bentonville game. Health-wise, how you feel about your group totally?
Yeah, obviously we've been off to a pretty good start. Haven't played a complete game in some of those games that were earlier in the year, but felt like, the week after that we felt like we had an issue or, a deficiency that we bounced back pretty well in that area. So, like I said, we're happy with where we are. We're not obviously, enthused or in a plateau place, obviously, because we know obviously who we have coming in town this week in Bentonville. I think our guys, they're always ready to go for this game just because of, it's a rivalry game. It's been a game that has been in some close significance games here and there in the future. It's always a great environment for Arkansas high school football. It's always packed. It's always loud. It's always a great, just a great high school environment for the state, which a lot of people in this area get out and go see. But our kids have done a great job up to this point. We talked to them about 2 things that we feel like we got to do this week. That number one, that's be a mature football team. We felt like that's one of our issues that's kind of held us back. Some of the penalties and things that we've got an experienced team, and we need to be a mature football team. And just talk to them about being composed, because Coach, playing in these games, everybody feels like the first 5 minutes of these games, everybody's so juiced up, damped up, ready to go. But it's like we talk to them every day. You got to be able to communicate. You got to be able to be, where you're supposed to be, get the motion, get the check, get all that stuff, and still be able to line up and play football at the end of the day. So, And that usually doesn't happen until about 5 minutes in the game. So that's what I told them. Once they settle down in that first 5 minutes, they're composed. They get in the even flow of the game. You survive the first series, the trick play or whatever's coming. Then I feel like we'll be in a great situation and a great place to go play football.
Well, Drake's putting up huge numbers. I mean, y'all on offensively. The question mark, you probably thought the same thing. I talked to other coaches, watched you guys this summer, was offensive line. And, man, those guys have held up. I mean, there's a lot of questions there with those guys, but they're doing the job, it looks like. And tell me about their progression.
Well, I think one of the things also is we added another offensive line coach to our staff in Justin Wood, and he's done a great job. He's our tight end tackle guy, but it's just another set of eyes for those guys. So I think, with him and Coach Davenport, that's really helped us having two guys down there to kind of obviously make sure we get some of those points across. But they have done a good job. I feel like they're in a good place as far as, pass protections, when to pick up what, how to pick it up, why to pick it up a certain way. But like I said last week, I felt like we were able to run the ball, enough for what we want to do offensively. With Christian, I think he had about 140 yards. We were able to run the ball, so it's a plus. And I'm proud of those guys. In the way they've came out, the way they've competed, they've gotten better week in and week out. But obviously, it's a big week for them, as well as it is for everybody. We got to go out and just play, what we call complementary football. Offense, defense, special teams, and got to be complementary to each other.
Well, and it's so huge. And then in a ball game like this, all three phases, when you play good teams, are going to show up. Well, let's talk about Bentonville. I mean, y'all have had that. I mean, this rival is one of the best in the state. I mean, we get some excited. I mean, when especially when both teams are really good, and y'all have had battles back and forth over the years, even before you were there. And Jody's been consistent. That program has been consistent. Saw them earlier this year against a very talented Conway team that lost at home, but they've bounced back. Put an 84 spot up on Heritage last week. I mean, just a boat race. I mean, it's unbelievable. And talk to me what the issues they bring to you, and what do you got to do to kind of even that thing out and get a victory?
Yeah, Coach Grant does a great job yearly with the guys that he has. And when you step back and look at it, you still see his footprint on the defense from when he was there as the defensive coordinator, and, doing a 3-4 and some of the things that they did while he was there as well. And now they've added a couple of things there to the arsenal as well. And, on the offensive side of the ball, Coach Dana Howard does an unbelievable job of, better than anybody, I think, in the state as far as making you account for the two tight ends and then all the multiple things that he does off of that with the two tight ends, with the motions, the different formations. And then, you can't fall asleep because he's going to go play action or, and it's always going to be off of motion tight, whatever it is. So he just does a great job of mixing that and really making it. What's more impressive is making it fit his kids that he has. And you look at, now they got the weapons out there, CJ Brown of a Luke Kuhn, and then they got, an experienced quarterback in Nimrod or not Nimrod. I can't think of his name, but he does a great job of maneuvering the ball down the field. And what's impressed me more this year is what he's been able to do when a play is broken down, and being able to extend it with his feet and then find somebody. I think you go put it on against Conway or Rockhurst, and there's 4 or 5 plays that get extended. He throws a pass. It's either a touchdown or a huge game because of what he's able to do with his legs. So, that presents a lot of issues from a defensive standpoint as well. You always got to make sure you're accounted for him while accounting for everybody else as well.
Well, and y'all played pretty good defense. I mean, you're giving up some points here a little bit the last 2 weeks, but I mean, you played 2 really good offenses. You're going to play another one, and those receivers for Bentonville do present a problem. I mean, I watched them against Conway, and I mean, they can get loose a little bit. So the guys over there, they got their work cut out, and I'm sure you'll be checking your guys' work over there. Coach Davis, Coach Brett over there. I mean, I talked to them a little bit earlier. How do they control that whole thing? Bentonville's always been known with those two types, run the football, play action, throwing it deep, but they're spreading out them. The receivers are really tough. What are they going to do on the back end? We're going to kind of do the same stuff, or what? I'm sure you got some wrinkles we all do in big games. Yeah. What's the mindset? Because they're going to make a couple of catches. What are you telling your guys?
I think the number one important thing when you play Bentonville is you got to be able to get the ball flat. Don't let them run north and south, A and B gap. Get it flat, make it get outside, and let your guys, run it down. So I know that's been a big point of emphasis for those guys as well. And then, I think the biggest thing that you got to be in this game is you got to be aware. Down and distance will play a big tendencies in some of their things, but also aware of where certain people are in certain formations. So that's what we've talked about to our kids also. You've got to be able to be composed enough to say, okay, why is this kid here, in this formation? Why is he tight? Why is he wide? Why is he where he is? And then boom, why are we motioning to it or away from it? So there's all those wrinkles, there's all those factors, and that's what we're talking to our kids. The football IQ that you have to have in order to go play these guys at a high level is really high. You can't be asleep. Because as soon as you go to sleep, boom, here it comes. Here comes a boot. Here comes a sprint out. Here comes something that you weren't necessarily counting for, just because they do a great job of with a shift or a motion or a boot or whatever it is, a sprint out, and then gaining that leverage that they need in order to make a big play off of it.
Well, they do a good job, man. I tell you what, if hey, good luck, man. This is. I mean, you're talking about big game. One, 2 seed possibility here. Who you getting playing on Thanksgiving? And it's great for Coach Williams to just bring all these scenarios up, and we're not even finished through the year, but I can do that.
That's right. That's right. It's good. It's good for the state. So we love it, man. We love it. We're glad to be up here. Got to be playing football, against Bentonville. It's always a great game. Coach, like I said, Coach Grant and his staff, that program up there, they do a great job.
Do a great job. Well, Casey, good luck to you. Tell the boys to say hello, and we'll be checking out down the road.
Yes, sir. We'll do. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, buddy. Well, Coach Dick, listen to him. They've got a really good football team. I mean, this is the game up here. I mean, this could put you, home field all the way through the playoffs right here. I think both teams are going to get a bye, but you like to up here get one of those central teams come up here when it's about 22 degrees. Ball's a little slicker. It's a huge game, and not having to go on the road. And it's crazy because a lot of times the regular season winner in this one loses in the playoffs to them. It's been backward, a huge rival. Jody Bentonville puts 84 spot up. They've got beat by Conway early in the year, and they've just kind of keep it rolling. Fayetteville, points after points after points, and playing pretty good on defense, both of them. The Mouth is going to go with the Purple Dogs. Grandma Nah is going to go with Bentonville. And this is a toss-up because, I think a turnover or a mistake could cost somebody.
A missed extra point.
Yeah, exactly. Missed
extra point, and this one's scary.
Yeah. I'm going to go with Purple Dogs. Man, but this could go either way. Break it down for me.
This is just out. It's unbelievable. Fayetteville's averaging 49 a game, and they're not even averaging more than Bentonville is. Bentonville's averaged almost 70 points now since the 84 massacre, the Rogers Heritage. It's unbelievable over there what's happening. But you got to give your hats off to them. You got to stop them. It's like somebody said, hey, if you don't like the score like it is, you got to do something about it. Sometimes you can't. You just got to take it like you can. But this is one of them pizza and corn games. Remember when you were a kid and on Friday night you had pizza and corn? You better get in the line fast, or they didn't make seconds. This is what kind of game this is. It's going to be a quick ticket to get. Rumor is it's going to be a packed house. I'm sure it is. Everybody's going to come out to watch this game. I heard Jerry Jones might even come to this.
Oh my!
Because he wants to see good. Yeah, he wants to see good quarterback play.
Yeah, of course you're gonna have to throw that one in.
Yeah. Jerry might even be there. But Fayetteville, they ran the ball a little bit last week. They had the Seltzer kid. That's an NIL name. If that guy gets smart, somebody's interested in helping out my Seltzer kid. He had 26 carries for 135 yards in a TD. So that just shows me you can't load the box. You load the box. Fayetteville's going to go over the top of you. You empty it, you're in deep trouble. You're going to have to get to the quarterback. I don't know if Bentonville can consistently get to the quarterback. Needless to say, you got to keep Lindsey. You can't let Lindsey pick your part. So let's pick your poison on that side of the ball. Bentonville's got really good quarterback play, got an outstanding wide receiver, and they're big up front. Both teams offensively are really, really, really good. And like I said, I think it's a 2-horse race in the West. But I'm going to take, even though it's at Bentonville, this
Oh
game's
no,
at
we're in
Bentonville.
Fayetteville. It's in Fayetteville.
Oh, well, that even makes it easier with the new, we're going to show off the new indoor and all that good stuff down there. We might actually have Jerry there. I mean, he might be down there. So I'm going to take the Purple Dogs at home. The Purple Dogs at home. And like I said, we'll probably see these guys play again and again and again, tell you the truth. I mean, I think the 7A is just a 4-team race right now. I think it's Bentonville, Fayetteville. Let's say either one of them slip up on the way. I don't see anybody slipping in there to get them, and then I think it's Bryant and Conway down here in the Central. But yes, this will be a heck of a game.
Well, it's good. It's a huge playoff implications. Conference championship.
Oh yeah,
and man, these guys just get after each other. They
they
get
it's
after.
big boy football right here.
It is
big boy
football, and I tell you what, it'll be wall to wall there. Well, Coach Fimple, so you're going to head down. Talk to me about Friday. You head down to Alma. We got,
this is reunion time, buddy.
Yeah, I mean,
this is the '92 team that got beat by the weather. Is what I like to say. The weather beat us.
I remember that. I was there. Lake
Hamilton,
pretty cold.
Ice storm.
Yeah.
I don't know what we were doing. Somebody said, "Hey, let's go sleeveless." I was out there going, "Why were we sleeveless? This is awful.
I remember
this is terrible."
It sleeted and there was ice all over Warren Stadium. People slipping, falling. I remember that.
Yeah,
cold.
Yeah,
and I remember
the
whole thing, by the way.
Oh, the funny thing is that the reason why we wait. First of all, Lake Hamiltons were really, really good. They were good. They were huge and they were really, really good. But one of the things I remember was, Coach Vines always used to eat grass. He used to take grass and eat it. And that's why we lost, because it's daggum AstroTurf out there. It's AstroTurf. There's no real grass to eat, man. What am I supposed to do around here? That was the reason why we lost the game.
Do you think Coach Vines will be there?
No, he's not. But most of all the other coaches are.
Okay.
Everybody else is going to be there. He's Coach Vines is in Florida, but he's not going to make it back. But Coach McMurray, Coach Roseman, Coach Abernathy, all those guys that coached us now, we got a big shindig with those guys, which I can't wait to see that. You get to see all these Rudyites. There's a place called Rudy, Arkansas, right outside of Alma. That's where oh my God, that's where every offensive lineman known to mankind came from, Rudy, Arkansas. So all of Rudy will be in attendance, I'm sure.
Oh, I'm sure it will be. Well, man, we'll look forward to seeing you next week. We'll be checking your work. Man, good week this past week. Maybe we can keep it rolling.
That sounds great, man.
Well, we'll see you next week. See you, Daryl.
All right, battle on.
Battle on. See you, man. Man, what an amazing segment right there, Coach Fimple. He's something else. He's got picks, he's got stats, he's got everything. Man, there's going to be some great games this week in high school. Let's talk a little NFL right now, a little college football. Let's go ahead and bring on Mr. Triple Crown, Derek. Let's go ahead and bring him our BSN guest of the week, Mr. Triple Crown himself, Derek. Pretty good week last week. We got to get off Notre Dame, man. That just got to get off Notre Dame.
Hey, we are today.
All right.
We are today. So, hey, just real quick, I'm not going to recap the whole week last week, but we went 2-3 on Saturday. Notre Dame beat us, and then we went 3-4 on Sunday. We're actually, for NFL, we lost Thursday night with the Commanders. So if you didn't watch the show before then, you were good anyway, and you hit all the Sunday games. But who would have thought the Bears would have showed up and Commanders didn't? So Bears look pretty damn good, actually. I mean, DJ Moore went crazy. So
who knew that Dick Butkus died? Right there before the day of the game, we got energy people. I mean,
right.
If they'd have lost that game, it'd been in Chicago, been really bad. Dick Butkus was looking over them on that one.
Yeah, there's no doubt. And I think everybody Sunday night saw our Super Bowl favorites.
Oh my!
In the 49ers, right?
Okay, so here's the deal with that. So I'm pacing. I mean, we had the Hog game on Saturday, and it is what it is. And then, I'm pacing it. I wake up. Coach Linda makes me some breakfast, and I'm pacing all day. I mean, I'm worried to death, and we got absolutely destroyed in all phases. So it's like I've told everybody there, here's the positive about that. There's not a chance, not a snowball's chance in hell we're going to the Super Bowl this year. So I can relax the rest of the year and just enjoy the games. And
That's exactly right.
I mean, it's all.
Hey, your expectations went from here to here,
Oh,
right?
it's here. I mean, it's just dropped completely. I've been a Cowboy fan.
I think the whole thing with that game is the 49ers, man. Think about every piece. They really have every piece. And Dak showed why he is not a franchise quarterback.
Well, here's the deal with the 49ers. They are the most physical team in football at every position. Their receivers are physical. Their running backs are physical. Their D-line, O-line's physical. And I think they put a blueprint a little bit on Micah Parsons on how to control him. But, they play in such a violent way every week, just injuries. If they can stay healthy, the 49ers, I mean, you talked about this. I thought last year they'd be there easy, and they show up to the Eagles and, they got Jeff Williams playing quarterback, and they're screwed, in the NFC Championship game. And so –
Well, it's exactly – well, and they admitted they were going to bring Phillip Rivers in if they would have made it and all this stuff. But it's the key is McCaffrey. Like, the receivers are good and the defense is good. But if they need to rep management McCaffrey, if they rep management McCaffrey correctly, then they aren't going to have a problem. I mean, yeah, they're going to probably see the Eagles or the Cowboys again in the NFC Championship, but I don't think it will be much of a game. As long as, Purdy stays healthy, and really mainly McCaffrey. He's a unique guy. Like, he's a once in a generation type running back.
Well, and he's perfect for Kyle Shanahan. That's a perfect marriage. A guy that Debo, you got two of them. They can line them up in the backfield. They can split them out.
How do you get that trade? How did they get him from the Panthers? First of all, so it's like. Anyway, so
football gods are shining on Kyle Shanahan right now. They are shining on Kyle Shanahan. I mean, they are. I mean, He's got just weapons. I mean, how fun is that to be going in a meeting and, hey, what do we want to do this week? Well, let's try this. I mean, it's unbelievable. All right, let's get into it.
It's almost like, yeah, sounds good. So NCAA, I'm picking 4 games this week, right? And so actually. Some marquee matchups as I start looking at it. So we're doing 14 parlay. This parlay will pay you 6-1, pretty good returns. So that means we're playing some pretty close games. First game we're going to play I'm going to hit it right out of the gate. USC is going to beat the snot off Notre Dame because Notre Dame cannot score. Right? Notre Dame's got a good defense, but they can't score. Like, let's see if they've got a good defense, let's see what they can do against this Heisman quarterback. Right. And they're not going to hold him down to 14 points. And Notre Dame's proven if they can't hold you below 20, then they're going to lose. And so I think USC is getting 3 points at Notre Dame. Take the points. I don't know how you don't take that and run. USC's number 10. Like I said, they got a good defense, but I think USC's going to – I couldn't believe when I looked at it and they were getting 3 points. So I'll take that all day. That's the first game. The second game is Miami at North Carolina. Miami's number 5, North Carolina's number 12, and the line's -4 North Carolina. Take North Carolina only at home. North Carolina absolutely. The only thing that could happen in this game is North Carolina stomped last week. We had them last week. They stomped. They won like 41-0 or something like that. That Miami game.
Oh my God. I'm sitting there, and it's them and Georgia Tech, and I can't think of the USC's fixed come on, and I really hadn't got to watch USC as much as I want to. So I'm sitting there's a minute to go in the game, and Miami gets the ball, and I said, well, they're going to take a knee. I flipped the channel,
right.
And all of a sudden we got the whole upset alert, and I'm thinking, okay, who's this? There's Georgia Tech beating my. What are we doing?
Yeah,
take a freaking knee.
You don't think there's mad people? There's some mad people in Vegas on that one. A lot of happy people as well, but yeah, I couldn't believe that.
Herman Edwards is still smiling. The 1981 or 78, he picks it up against. It's like deja vu. I mean, I'm poor Mario.
Exactly.
People that don't know, there's a chart. There's a chart for all coaches at the end of the game on how many plays you got to run with how many times outs and all that, does anybody have a chart? Break the chart out. I mean, God,
where's that guy over the chart, right? I mean, that's you always think about that, like how many plays can they run or how much time will be left on the clock when you give it back. But Bama about screwed up on that as well. Bama
sure
quarterback threw the ball. He threw the ball when all they had to do was kneel it out, and they ended up giving the ball back to A&M. I'm just like, what in the hell's going on? Because I had bet on that game. But anyway, North Carolina over Miami. I think North Carolina's they're too hot right now. They're at home. This is, I think, the game of the day is Oregon at Washington, and I'm a Washington fan at the moment, and that line's -3. The good thing about these lines being -3, -4, and then even if you play just the money line, you're getting really good odds, and so that's what's pumping this up to a 6-1. So I think here's the thing: is Oregon and Washington both came off a bye. They both didn't play this week, and so I think it's going to be pretty evenly matched. Could be a high-scoring game, as we'd always think, but I really think Washington. I look at both the rosters, I look at both the teams. Washington's receivers, I think, are the next level. Like, I think Oregon's got great playmakers and things like that, and no doubt. But Washington receivers are next level. So we're going to take Washington there straight up. Go ahead.
I got a buddy of mine, Coach Leftwich. He works up over at Oregon, and man, this is going to be a great matchup. I mean, it's unbelievable. I mean,
it's going to be
this one of these teams could be playing in the Final Four easy.
Yep.
All right, we got it.
I think so. Yep. Hang on, one more on NCAA. Last one I had there was I had Louisville at Pitt. Louisville's 6-0 playing at Pitt 1-4. The only team that's beat Pitt, the only good team Pitt's played out of all their schedule is North Carolina, who beat the pants off of them. And Louisville's only given a touchdown. And with that, I want you go ahead and buy it down. You still get good odds. You buy it to money line. Louisville's 6-0. They just beat a really good defense in Notre Dame. And they literally scored the crap out of the ball against Notre Dame. And so, summarizing, North Carolina money line, Washington money line, USC +3, and then Louisville money line. And that pays 6-1. All right. Going over to the NFL on there's Thursday night game, one Thursday night game, and then I picked 6 Sunday games. And these started the lineup pretty good. And we're doing the same thing. We're going to do the money line train, and there's going to be one game where I'm going to give the points, and that's going to be with the 49ers. So let's start on Thursday night. We got Broncos at Chiefs. You can buy it to +1. The line's -10. You can buy it to +1, and it's the same as the money line, so you might as well get the +1 for free. The Panthers at the Dolphins. Dolphins all day, money line. Panthers, they're just trying to win a game at the moment. Dolphins are rolling. Colts at Jags. It's an interesting game. Colts lost their quarterback, Anthony Richardson. They got Gardner Minshew in there, who's probably just as damn good a quarterback. He upsets Houston a couple weeks ago.
Yes, sir.
But I think Jags are playing too good. They beat the Bills this week in London, and so that line's really tight. It's -4. I'm going to move that line to +3. Right? Because if it is a close game, for whatever reason, Minshew Mania shows up, then I want to make sure that I've got a field goal in a tight game. And so I'm going to move that all the way to +3. 49ers at Browns. Browns are awful. The Niners only give them 5 points. I'll take the Niners. I think it's because it's a short week. They play in the Cowboys. I'm going to take Niners -5 points. Cardinals at the Rams. Rams are playing good ball. They got Cooper Kupp back. Their defense is solid again this year, but they're trading receivers. They've got so many receivers. So I'm going to take that money line. Eagles at Jets. Eagles is -7, but I'm going to take the money line there. I think the Eagles defense is too good. They're going to score their points, and so Eagles are going to win. And then the last game is probably the worst team in football, Giants at the Bills. I don't see the Giants beating anybody. I think Washington or college teams can beat the Giants. And so I will take the Bills money line there. That 7 team right there plays 6-1. Wow. And I don't think there's really anybody on that NFL schedule that's going to lose.
Yeah.
And the one that scares me is the Jags. But I think the Jags and the Colts, I think you take the +3 at Jacksonville. I think you're fine.
And Jacksonville always plays well at home. I mean,
Yeah. And they've been in London for 2 weeks, right? They're probably glad to get back and get comfortable. And Colts, like I said, they lost their guys, so I think it'll be fine. So 2 6-1 parlays. We're going to get back on the winning streak. We've actually had 2 weeks where we've lost one every day, and I'm tired of it. And we were on a hot streak before that. And so we're going to get back this week. Hopefully we win the NCAA day, and then we come back and follow it up with a good win on NFL. So that one, then will be a good payout. So 6-1.
Well, good deal. Well, Derek, tell everybody how they can find you.
TikTok, still doing that. I've had a little coach spell. Hell, I was hot as hell in the first 5 or 6 social media posts I made. I've been cold last 3 or 4. But go to TikTok, Triple Crown. You can also look up Badass Braz. It's a little handle I have, but TikTok with Triple Crown, and that will get you to all the Instagram and everything. Okay.
All righty, man. Well, that sounds good. Well, good luck this week. We'll look forward. We'll be checking your work as always. We'll next week, man.
All right. See you.
See you. All right, Bray. Man, a lot of great games coming up. Got the Hogs, Saturday. There's a lot of great high school games. The picks, Coach Fimple is all over these picks. I mean, he's stats and a great conversation with Coach Dick.
He has been on it.
Yes, no doubt. Well, talk to our audience how you find us.
Yeah, Coach, we are on we're on Twitter or X at Coaches Pod. That's our handle. So you can find all of our episodes there and all of our promotions, as well as Instagram with the same handle, Coaches Pod. You can also find us on YouTube, which is kind of our home base. Coaches in the Mouth Pod. That's our handle on YouTube. So all those likes, all those subscribes, which we are growing, but those are huge. So we're looking for those.
We'll hit those clicks, and we appreciate it. Well, for Coach Jeff Williams, Coach Bray Cook, the Mouth's on assignment. We'll see you next week on the Coaches in the Pod.